Cheek coming at you again with another awesome episode of Living Your Best Life. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I am so excited to bring to you today's episode, which I know you're going to really enjoy. And this is why. And we might be targeting our audience a little bit more so this afternoon, because if you are over the age of 35, okay, and you might be dealing with some issues such as, low energy, this is the show that you want to watch, okay? If you are over the age of 35 and you might be dealing with some belly fat that you just cannot get rid of, all right, this is the show that you want to hang out for today. Now, if you are a female and age really doesn't matter here, and you suffer from hormonal imbalances such as PCOS, as I like to call it, or PCOS, which is the medical term for it. But this is the show for you today, and I want you really to take a listen to it and check out my guests, because they are Phil and Michelle, and they are out of the Greensboro area here, Greensboro, North Carolina, and the name of their business is the Phoenix Edge, and they are doing a phenomenal job with helping people, I would like to say, regain their life back, okay, if I can say that, or even, hey, they're helping people, find their fountain of youth. All right. So the method that they're using is hormonal replacement therapy. Now, this is something that a lot of people haven't heard about, but definitely take a listen to it, because it might be something that you want to reach out to them about. All right. If you are dealing with the issues that I just spoke about. So please take a listen to this show today. I know that you're going to really get a lot of information from it. So, but before we get to the show, of course, our product for today, for the episode, is, of course, the Ultimate Aloe. Listen, your gut health is so important to your immunity, all right? And we're not over this COVID stuff yet, so it's still out here. So you want to make sure that you have a strong immune system. And as they say, life and death begins in the gut, all right? You take care of your gut, it will take care of you. Remember that, okay? Remember that. So there's a code, okay? Check out the code below, because when you put the code in, of course, you get a discount, and I'll get you your Ultimate Aloe out to you. So everyone, check that out, and I'll catch you on the other side of the commercial. All right, get ready for the show. Be good. Peace. And welcome back, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for giving us some of your time to Living Your Best Life. And as I am, well, let me start it here. I am so excited to have on this show these two awesome individuals here, because I think this is something, when we talk about hormone replacement therapy, and a lot of people, I don't think really know what it is. And so when I had the meeting for the first time with them, I was so intrigued and just like, wow, I have got to get you guys onto the show just to share a little bit about what you guys are doing. Because as I want to say the fountain of youth, and I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's really correct, but that's the way that I see it. But I'll have you guys come and, share really what hormone replacement therapy is, and kind of like give us some exposure and just share with us what your whole business is. But today, everyone, we have Phoenix Edge onto the show. And today we have Phil K, as it is there. And I won't even worry about destroying your last name. So I'm going to let you share that. And we have Michelle Green, which is easier to pronounce. Yes. And so Phil, I would love for you, my man, to share a little bit about who you are and what the Phoenix Edge is, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, thanks for having us, Todd. My name is Phil Kolarczyk. Don't worry about the last name. Just I used to go by Phil K, or Dr. Phil, as some people call it. But I am not a doctor. I'm actually a physician assistant by trade. And what we do is we focus a lot on hormone replacement therapy. And like, as you said, Todd, it's becoming less and less taboo. So more people are talking about it, and we're basically all we're trying to do is make sure that people are living their best life. People are living longer. They want to remain active. They want to just feel like they did when they were in their 30s, 40s, 20s, and just be able to have the energy and the drive to still want to go out and really live their best life.
Awesome. Well, that's what we want to do. That's what we're gonna do. I know that as we get older, as we all get older, things do kind of like tend to stiffen up and slow down, and that's just the process of life, and we all understand that. But thanks for that. So Michelle, you are when I sat down with you, you're like a walking encyclopedia, and that was that was my thing to you, and just so much wealth of information, and just really passionate about what you do, and I appreciate that so much. So if you don't mind, sharing a little bit more about who you are and what caused you, what creates this passionate person that's in you.
Well, thank you again for having us on your show. This is quite an honor. And my name is Michelle Green. I am a clinical exercise physiologist, which are a bunch of words to say I'm a person who has a master's in exercise physiology. And with that education comes the knowledge of what happens when we age, that it's disease processes show up. How do these physiologies change with age? What does that mean for our metabolism? What does that mean for our ability to do the things that we want to do in the second half of life? And when I was in my master's program, it was depressing at one point, because you're like, oh my gosh, this is what I get to look forward to. But the beauty on the other side of class was, and here's what we can do about it. So what I love is for folks to come in 35 and above, and for me to sit down and say, okay, congratulations, you lived this long. Here's what we get to look forward to. So let's understand the loss of skeletal muscle due to age, what we can do to combat that. Let's talk about the loss of your ability to process carbohydrates and what we can do to combat that. So what Phil and I do as a team, and we are very passionate about, we won't call it the fountain of youth, but let's call it helping people to maximize the second half of their life.
Wow.
So let's help you take all the wisdom that you had in the first half, carry it over, but make sure you actually get to enjoy it with less pain, with more mobility, with better sleep, maybe even greater libido than you did as a younger person, right? So
hey, there we go. Now we're talking.
Yes. So, when folks are coming in, they're getting their labs drawn, they're sitting with Phil, he's looking at their thyroid, he's looking at their hormones, he's looking at their full metabolic panel. He's making recommendations based on their goals, based on what he sees. And they sit down with me and I understand what his recommendations were, what their goals are, and we can paint a picture. Okay, this is what we are seeing. Here are the areas of opportunity in your hormones, in your thyroid, in your metabolism, and let's combat it with hormone therapy, safe physical movement, mindfulness and meditation, and of course, nutrition therapy, right? Because these are all chemicals, and we got to make sure that they're working in alignment with our new physiology once we cross over 35 years of age. So that's what I am passionate about, is helping people to get excited about being 35 and above. This is your best life. We live this long. We've been working hard. There's no need to dread it. In fact, there's no reason to be scared that you're going to lose energy, that you're going to not be able to do things. The truth is, we can educate you on how you can have more, maybe more than what you had before, right? So when folks come to us, most of the time they say, gosh, this is my last straw. I don't know where else to go. And then we can help them, and then they feel great. And then that's what jazzes us up, is we just want to help everybody feel awesome.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
We get passionate about people walking out the door going, yes, like, I have a solution. I have hope. We get excited about giving people hope.
Yeah.
Because they're like, gosh, I can't lose weight. Gosh, I can't think the second half of the day. Gosh, I just don't have any energy. Gosh, da 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 da. And that's not a problem. We can help you address those issues.
Wow.
When you
Everyone,
bring people hope, it's a joyful experience.
Like I said, she is like just on fire. And I love that about you guys. And you guys make a great team. I just want to say that. And like I said, just sitting down with you guys, the both of you, I just felt just the passion, but just also just the desire to help people. And I appreciate that, from the both of you. Now, so to move on to this first question, because I just want to be clear that people understand what hormone replacement therapy is. So whoever wants to answer it, I'll just leave it up to you guys. each one of you. But what is hormone replacement therapy, otherwise known also as HRT, correct?
Correct.
All right, good.
Hormone replacement therapy like kind of encompasses, both men and women create the same hormones. We just create different amounts of it. So the three big ones that we talk about are testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. And all three of them, both men and women need it. We just need different amounts. For us guys, testosterone is our main hormone. So after the age of 30, it typically declines at a 1 to 3% every single year. So, I hate to say we peaked in high school, but, we kind of peaked and on the slide. Now women, the main hormone is usually estrogen. And so they'll come in and talk to us a lot about estrogen, but then we will educate them on how testosterone can kind of help. Testosterone is kind of like, in my world, and I tell everybody that sits down with me, it's like the happy hormone. The two big reasons I tell anybody even consider testosterone: energy and libido. Those are the two big things that most people will say, yep, I see an improvement in both areas. Some people will also say that their mood gets a little bit better, make them a little bit more even keel. They might not sweat the small stuff. Some people will say that their sleep gets a little bit better, where, not the goal is not to put you to sleep, but it puts you in a deeper sleep so you feel more rested when you wake up in the morning. Some people will say that it improves their joint pain. Other people will say that they feel that it makes them a little bit more sharper mentally. So it kind of helps cure some of that brain fog that happens as we go throughout the day and go throughout life.
Wow. So when you say like men and women, testosterone being put, in men, and women, estrogen, and at the age of 35, I think 30, things start to happen. What are some of the physical issues that men deal with when their testosterone levels begin to drop off?
That's a great question, and they have a term called andropause. So women go through menopause, and us guys, we go through andropause. So what typically happens is a lot of the same physiological things. Like guys will start noticing things dropping, just like in females, they'll come in and say like, I just now I'm haven't changed anything, but now I'm getting a little bit of a pooch in the tummy area, and the same thing happens with us guys. We lose muscle. Our metabolisms kind of slow down, and we find ourselves kind of reaching for a cup of coffee at 2:00 in the afternoon just to kind of get through the rest of the day, or find himself literally just had a patient this week said that he had to take a nap at the end of his day just to drive home every night. These are things that are kind of happening as we see in people in their 30s. We actually see people even 40s, 50s. It's almost kind of like a guarantee.
Gotcha. And Michelle, question right quick for you too, because I'm pretty sure you've seen people working out tirelessly in the gym once they're beyond that age where they're just, got all the testosterone, the healthy testosterone, all the healthy estrogen, but they're not getting results. Is there a correlation between, hormonal, issues and spending all this time in the gym and thinking that you're going to get the results, but never seeing the results?
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Let's talk about it. 35, men and women start to enter sarcopenia. So Phil is right. Not only does your testosterone drop, but every decade you start to lose 10% of your muscle mass. And with it, your ability to fight off carbohydrates. So you're specifically losing your type 2 muscle fibers. Those are the ones that almost exclusively use carbohydrates for gas. So as we're advancing in age, not only are we losing our muscle mass due to sarcopenia, but our ability to fight off carbohydrates from getting stuck in all the wrong areas, right? So when you see men and women in the gym and they are tirelessly pushing themselves, go, they're not getting the same results. They're not able to put back on the muscle that they once had for a few reasons. Number one, they just don't have the hormones to help them rebuild back that muscle. Number two, they don't have the energy to push through the same level of intensity. Or maybe they don't have the energy just to even show up to the gym. Number three, they don't have the mental bandwidth to take on the clean eating piece, the other pieces that need to happen to have a full sphere of wellness, to have optimal wellness. So results are happening from sleep, nutrition, safe physical movement, and of course, stress reduction, right?
Right.
Well, you will get challenged with all of those with the loss of your testosterone, with the loss of your muscle mass. So just like we talk about loss of energy, loss of carbohydrate metabolism, Phil touched on a little bit of something.
Mhm.
The truth is, when your hormones drop, you're also having an less ability to uptake serotonin, the happy hormone, right?
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of this stress anxiety starts to show up. Well, guess what happens when you're stressed out? Cortisol levels go up. Well, then what's happening? When cortisol levels are up, belly fat goes up with it.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
you're seeing with increases in age, you're seeing the softness around the midsection for both men and women. You're seeing the lack of energy. You're seeing the loss of muscle mass. You're seeing the increased stress, the hello, I'm going to put everybody on Lexapro from their PCP, right? So it's just this vicious cycle. You asked me mostly about like, what am I seeing in the gym? I will see a lot of men and women, you know, pushing hard, not getting the same results. And I just want to walk over to him and say, are you having any of these symptoms? Come see us, right?
You know, and you're talking my language too, because you know, one of the things that I stress to my clients is how to manage stress, because I don't think we quite understand the impact that it has on our overall health. And particularly, like you said, you know, when cortisol levels go up, the body tends to be a fat producing machine versus a fat burning machine. And so, but that's something that, once again, I people haven't grasped the impact of how stress plays on our bodies and everything like that. So yeah, thank you for that. You know, thank you for that. One of the things too that when you speak about hormone replacement therapy, what are the misconceptions, if there are any, out there when it comes to this particular procedure and or therapy?
The biggest misconception is the cancer risk.
Okay.
So a lot of people believe as soon as they hear about testosterone, they automatically
Exactly.
with testosterone. Now, there is plenty of literature that actually shows that testosterone itself does not cause cancer. However, the belief is if you had some sort of growth, it might make that growth grow a little quicker. So that's why it gets lumped in with cancer. Now, estrogen, especially in postmenopausal women who haven't had a hysterectomy, there is more of a direct correlation between breast, ovarian, and uterine cancers to estrogen replacement. So usually when someone comes in here, I tell them about the risk, and depending on their symptoms, we may or may not even talk about estrogen just because of that direct correlation between breast, ovarian, and uterine cancers. Progesterone is probably the least of them that are tied to cancer, but progesterone is kind of tied to some other things itself, with mainly like the same kind of blood clot concerns that estrogen has.
Yeah. And when we sat down last week, one thing, when people think of like, I'm gonna get my hormone replacement, I'm gonna go through that whole thing, and they think they're gonna come out probably the next day buffed. so I think that's something that people are kind of like deceived about too, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I tell everybody that even walks through the door, our goal here is we're not trying to put anybody in the, I hate to use Arnold's name, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's levels. We have a therapeutic range for both men and women, and
gotcha.
So that way, these are not. Testosterone is a very mild bulk builder. So people who even come here thinking that, I'm going to get on testosterone and I'm just going to turn into, the next Incredible Hulk. I have to, walk them back from that realization as well. So thanks for bringing that up.
Gotcha. Do you want to say something, Michelle? I didn't know if that was something.
For females, right? Yeah. They want to feel better on the testosterone, but their concern is, am I going to get masculine? So obviously that is a concern. And I say, well, my friend, the good news is we're not legally allowed to put you on enough testosterone to turn you into a man. So good there. When Phil communicates about therapeutic range, what he's really saying is, based on your labs, wherever you are at, we're just trying to get you to the same levels that you were when you were a younger person, not more,
Gotcha. Wow.
right?
Wow.
So there's a big, when we talk about testosterone, everybody thinks steroids,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go to the gym, they call it bro science. I'm going to the gym, I'm going to get big, and I'm doing all these compounds, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Okay, when people come here, we are looking at your labs. We're making sure that you're in a safe range, nothing outside of that safe range. And when we're
Right.
communicating about safe range, we're also communicating about how is that affecting your liver and kidneys?
Yeah.
What about your hematocrit? What
Yeah.
about the other hormones that may need to be adjusted because of that, right? So when people go to the gym and they get stuff from their buddy out of their back of their car and they're doing steroids, that's an unsafe practice. And
Right.
that line of thinking is something that we almost have to undo here, right?
Right.
So we have to be very clear about we are hormone replacement, not steroids, right?
And thank you so much for that clarification, because that was a question, like what is the difference between steroids and, but like I said, thank you so much. But like you said, what did you say? You was therapeutic part of it, where you're just getting it to the point where, you're feeling like you were when you were in your 30s.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you, like I said, once again for that clarification. I want to bring something up to you also, Michelle, because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine just last night, and I'm going to be sharing your information with them as soon as I upload this interview onto the server. As I like to call it, PCOS, because I trip over the letters PCOS. So for me, it's easier just to say PCOS. And they are dealing with this particular hormonal challenge at this point in time. Can you guys work with, and do you guys work with people dealing with PCOS?
Absolutely. We love
Yes.
working with people with PCOS because they feel like they are working out really hard and they're not getting
Right.
anywhere.
Right. Right. And so how does because there seems to, I've done some research and some reading about PCOS, and doctors themselves seem to be at the end of it's like, we don't know. Just keep doing what you're doing and stop, eating, maybe, reduce your carb intake. And pretty much that's the only answer that they have. So is there something more than just you continue to work out and reduce your carb intake that you guys do there?
So I would say from a medication standpoint, Phil can speak to that. From a nutrition and physical activity standpoint, here's what we know about, or here's what I should say, what we think we know about PCOS.
Okay, gotcha.
On a daily basis, knowledge is coming out of the literature.
Yeah.
What we think we know is that these bodies want to act like they have insulin resistance. They want to act like they have type 2 diabetes. They tend to be very androgenic, the females, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from a nutritional standpoint, if you're walking in the door and I understand you're already a human who cannot tolerate, and I use that word specifically, cannot tolerate a lot of carbohydrates that are unchecked by fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to get real specific about what kind of carbohydrates you're having. What are the net carbs? What kinds of proteins are we pairing with it? What is the nutrient timing related to that?
Mm-hmm.
More important, from a physical activity standpoint, if you're a female with PCOS who has a high testosterone, because we see that a lot,
Mm-hmm.
if you're already coming in looking a little bulky, I'm going to educate you to communicate with your coach to make sure that we're training in a way that isn't building on that foundation. Right?
Gotcha.
Because,
Okay.
these ladies, they can put on size real quick and they may not feel beautiful and sexy when they do that. Right. So working with coaches, making sure that they're designing programs that are going to do everything they can for more of a sculpted long look versus adding more bulk to someone who genetically is predisposed to put on size pretty quick, right? Hey, if their goal is to be a power lifter, awesome. But most of the time, the ladies do not want to look like bodybuilders. They do not want to look like power lifters. They just want to look like feminine females.
Yeah.
So from a coaching aesthetic standpoint, we have to have that conversation. From a therapeutic standpoint, good thing about us is we've got therapies that don't mess with your testosterone, that can
Okay.
still help with carbohydrate metabolism and help to lean you out. And Phil can speak to more on that. It's pretty cool what we can do.
Yeah, if you don't mind sharing, Phil.
And I mean, just to kind of add to what Michelle is saying, like we take a different approach here. So we want to have full set of labs done, or like preferably our full set of labs, just because we do look at some other areas that are of concern, especially with someone with PCOS. You know, the stalwarts of PCOS or PCOS for you is, you know, higher testosterone and insulin resistance. So, you know, like if they go to their primary care and we don't even know what their insulin levels are, it's much tougher to discussion. But you know, we work pretty much together, and you know, I'll review the labs, and Michelle and I will have a conversation before Michelle even sits down with the person, and I kind of let her know, like, here's what we're going to be doing, XYZ. And then it's like, okay, we already know she has PCOS, and here's going to be how we're going to approach it. So various therapies. I mean, you know, obviously there's medications that can kind of help some aspects of the PCOS. If people have already exhausted that route and are still looking for more, there are great things out there that are peptides that are not medication. They're more like amino acids that just basically help your body produce certain hormones naturally, so that we're not adding any more androgenic side effects to it. And androgenic side effects for a female are, you know, maybe facial hair, or more hair, acne, things like that. So
gotcha.
Almost a squared off frame, right? And so we treat a lot of patients with PCOS, and
thank you,
successfully. We embrace them, because a lot of times they feel like their whole life they've been fighting their weight.
Exactly.
They have no idea why. These folks are usually very physically active. They're excellent, yet they cannot understand why they cannot lose weight, and it's very frustrating for them. And it creates a lot of self-image concerns, right? Maybe lack of feelings of maybe feelings of insecurity, right? Maybe translate into some self-worth issues. You know, like, I don't understand why I can't lose weight, yet my sisters are this big around, right? It's just because they haven't been to the right team that understands metabolically what's going on and how we can address it.
And one of the best compliments that we can ever receive is, you guys were the first people to ever listen to us.
Wow.
And you know, the top compliment is always getting a referral, but you know, but hearing that, you know, we actually took the time to listen to them, like they were heard, because that's, everybody gets their time when they come in here. We're not
in and out.
There's no 8-minute appointments.
He makes a big point. We get that a lot. I feel like I was heard. Wow, somebody finally listened to me. Didn't tell me just to go eat less and move more.
Exactly. And that's what so many people are so used to hearing. So I appreciate you both for just being there. And I wish that I had come across you guys earlier, you know, but hey, now that we've met, now we can just build upon what we're working on and moving forward here. And as we come to a close with the both of you, what's in the future for Phoenix Edge, man? I mean, you guys are, like I said, the first company that I've come across that's treating people hormonally. And I can only imagine that this is going to grow in the near future, because, as I always say, people just want to feel well. And if we can help people just begin to feel well again, then wow, we've done a great thing. People are just so caught up into whatever their daily issues are, and they're not feeling well anymore. And so, like I said, I thank you guys for doing what you do. And so I just want to know what's in the future for you guys. And like I said, you guys make an awesome team.
Probably cloning us would be the
Yeah,
next.
that's one thing.
That will make hiring much easier.
Great next step.
Gotcha.
We are going to continue to service. Obviously we're located in the Triad, right by the Chop House in High Point.
Yeah.
So I mean the phone keeps ringing, which is, knock on wood,
Yeah.
is a great thing. And like I said, more people are talking about it. Yeah, that's guys and gals. So like, you know, less and less taboo. We're constantly talking about different things that could add benefits to our patients. You know, we're not just going to bring in a service or a product just because it's new and hot and exciting. It has to bring value to our patients. So that's always what we're always looking forward to. You know, who knows? You know, down the line, you know, maybe we'll get cloned or have
next 2 years it's coming out. Wait, and we're gonna do that. So awesome.
We would like to expand at some point, you know, and it's something that's in the back of the mind.
Gotcha.
Because again, my goal when we first created this thing was I want as many people to feel as best as they possibly can, and that's
right.
And I want to make it affordable, and I want to make it accessible. So
that's
we're all going to cross. Well, if, as my dad says, if the Lord lets me live, for all of us who will make it past 35 years of age, you need to know that there's some resources out here for you to make sure that as you cross in, you've got all the right tools on board, all the education to fight off the loss of skeletal muscle due to age, all the education to fight off the inability to process carbohydrates, all of the tools on board to make sure that you're sleeping well, cortisol levels are low, and that you're able to live your best life. So the truth is, when we were all in high school, someone should have sat us down and said, listen, at 35, this is what's getting ready to happen to you. But unfortunately, we didn't get that conversation, right?
Yeah.
But
now we know.
Yes, come to us. We will sit down. We'll tell you about your physiology, and we'll create a pathway for you so that you can feel awesome. Hopefully. So that's
okay.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for hanging out with us for a few minutes, just to give us some of your time and some of your value. I hope you guys are going to be doing some public speaking things somewhere, because we have to get word out about what's going on at the Phoenix Edge, you know, because this is so important.
It is.
And you know, any way that I can help support that, any speaking events that I do, I'm calling you guys to come and speak again, because once again, we have to get word out about what's going on there.
Yeah, healthy and active aging.
Yeah, exactly.
The goal is longevity,
you know, and longevity and doing well at your longevity.
Yes.
And also
high quality.
Exactly, quality longevity. We can find you where out there in the internet land, as we used to call it, the world. Was it World Wide Web or?
That's what that stands for. Yeah. Well, you know, the name of the company is the Phoenix Edge, but our web address is www.buagain.com. So it's BE, the letter U, AGAIN.com. So
I messed mine up too.
Again, so the goal is to be you again.
Be you again. So just think about that. BeYouAgain.com. And once again, gang, I really do thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes. And I really look forward to working with you in the future and moving forward from here, because I almost need you.
Well, we need you as much as you need us, because you're out there coaching and motivating, and it's a trifecta, right?
Yeah, it really is.
You need safe movement, you need motivating coaches, and we need healthy nutrition, we need hormones balance.
Yes.
You got to have all three.
Got to have all three.
So we're already a big team.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, okay?
Thank you.
Awesome. And so everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us on another episode of Living Your Best Life. Listen, get in contact with these people, because they're out there in the trenches helping you do just that, live your best life. And that's what we want to do, okay? We want to be well, like I said earlier, okay? So let's get well, let's be healthy, let's be productive, let's be our best. So everyone, thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Living Your Best Life. Take care.